Welcome back to Tavern Talk. I am DM Daddy Mike, and happy Pride yet again. And today I am joined by one of my favorite drag queens, Inita D. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Red. Thank you for having me. I'm
Of
excited.
course, I'm excited too. I rarely get to interact with you outside of drag or outside of you performing, so this is a treat for me to get to know you a little bit better. But I also
Yeah.
wanted to platform you because there's this whole contingent, like, yes, we love going to see your show at Hush, recapping Drag Race.
Yeah.
You are one of the most phenomenal performers we've seen in a long time. I think we've been going to your show for like 4 years now at this
Yeah,
point. It's
literally.
like our staple. um, but uh, yeah, it's just a treat to see you kind of like grow in the time that we've known you. So I wanted to at least get on here, celebrate some drag queens from New York City that have been achieving. But also, it's like, hey, it's Pride. You probably have a lot of gigs that you want people to
Oh,
give you dollars at. So we're going to talk about that as well.
yes.
Um, but yeah, so if you don't, my silly question to start out: how did you come up with the name Inita D?
Yes. Um, okay, so hi everyone that's watching us.
Hi.
The thousands and millions of people that are going to be watching this podcast. It is also
Yes.
good to see you, like, but also to interact with you, not in drag, because I don't get many chances to do that with people that either come to my show or friends
You're
of
a real
mine that
person.
family. I know, right? It's like the wig might be synthetic, but the soul is real. But I needed to came about because when I started drag like it's about 9.5, almost 10 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was talking to like my closest friends, two of my roommates who were my closest friend, and they still are at the time. And originally, I was going to name myself Cece because my mom's name is Christine, and like Cece was her nickname, like growing up in the projects where we grew. And then my name is Zachary, but with two C's, Zaccary. There's no H.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute, except growing up was horrible because everyone misspelled my name. But anyways, and so it was like, oh, this is like a tie to my name, like the two letters in my name, but also ties to my mom, something cute and like fun. And also, I come from a business background, so I was just thinking about like things that are marketable and easy to like, for brands.
And
right?
it's the top alphabetically at the call sheet sometimes, so you'll get on
Baby,
first
baby.
at the very least.
Pick me first. And then I was telling my friends, and my friends were like, girl, that's too, how do I say this? They were like, that's too, like, demure and too classy of you, and you are a woman of the evening, if you get what I'm saying. And I said, well, because I need it. Like, and I was like, and then I was like, ooh, I need this. But I was like, okay, obviously I didn't want to say, like, the eggplant emoji, because I was just like, I like being witty, but I also, again, business-wise and thinking of things, I was like, if I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this my career, I want to be marketable in places that are not just nightlife, right? And also, I don't want to lose opportunities because my name is so on the point, which many people, when they hear it, they're like, oh, I need a, and I'm like, no, there's more to this. So I need a D to make it one where, like, it's fun. I like the way it is because when I say it to adults, I say I need a D, and they're like, oh, they get it.
Yeah, you get it.
But if I'm around, like, if I'm in spaces of, like, family-friendly spaces, like a restaurant, or I've done high school events and stuff, sometimes I won't even use the D. I'll just say my name's Anita. Or if I say it in front of family,
you're going on record saying you don't use the D.
For family-friendly purposes, I do not use the D because I'm a woman of a higher being. But in the evening, I'm always using the D. But yeah, so I used it. Okay, you heard it here first, everyone. But I it's just a way of like the adults get it, the kids don't, or someone that's underage may not get it too. It's not too vulgar, because I like it to be witty and punny. And every time I say it, what I love the most is like the first time I say my name to someone, it's always like, oh, my name's Anita D, and they're like, oh. Like they have that second response where like my name is not solidified. Like they will never forget it.
Yeah,
so my friends helped me out.
The business side of things, I also went to business school, so it's like I'm thinking about it from like this marketing side of things. I was initially thinking, well, why did she spell it with her name I-N instead of A-N?
And
it's like, it's recognizable. It's like it's spelled specifically this way to stand out. And then you're right, you can drop the final initial if you want to go more mainstream if you get on some sort of popular drag competition show or something
Yes,
like
like
that.
Cops or America's Most Wanted. Exactly.
Yes.
But it's also the other thing. I changed the first letter too because, and this is, I didn't realize this until I live in the Heights, so I live in like a heavily Dominican neighborhood and community too, which I love. But and I'm also, people think I'm Latino, so I changed the name to I because I want it to be like when you say I Nita, right? Like because it's like I need it, so it's but instead of spelling like I need, I put like Anita but with an I. But girl, every time I'm doing any event where people assume I'm Spanish, they're always like Inita, and I'm like, and they're not wrong. It's just I'm like, oh, I should have thought about this.
So what brought you? What is like for people maybe starting out in drag or wanting to experience drag or nightlife in general from a business perspective? What are like some tips and tricks you have for the baby drag queens to like actually make this marketable or a survival to like make money off of this, other than like throwing themselves on the ground for $1?
Which I know much about. I think the few things from a business perspective, there's first I would say networking is important in this industry, and by not only just networking, like actively networking with people, I think also maintaining a level of professionalism when you're going to spaces that you're new at. Even if you don't like a person or you don't really vibe with them, or there's someone that you're working with that you don't get along with, like really kind of like put the mask on, get through the gig, show up on time, do your thing, and leave. Because once you build these networks and these connections, then you'll have more opportunities to do things. The second thing, and this has been for me personally, it takes a lot of risk to just do drag full time, and it's hard to do that in the beginning. So I always suggest, and I still do this, I still have this now, have like another job as well.
A survival job.
Have even whether it's a day job or something, or even if it's a part-time or something that provides like a consistent income, and then get into drag. And then as you start doing more and more drag, whether it's because you're getting more shows, then you have to have that moment where you make a decision of like, do I need to leave this job and kind of pursue it? I'm a swim instructor as well, and I have literally been at my swim job for 11 years now, and and I've always had the job because for me, drag, especially as a dancer, I'm like, drag, if I injure myself, I don't have work. If I can't go to the gig, I don't get paid. I'm not a W-2. I'm not a contracted person at any of these places. So if I don't show up, I don't get paid. And so knowing the risk of that, I was like, let me have a job where I can have some income still coming in, whether it's slow season or I get injured, and it's proven to be helpful. And then the last thing I would say is I don't necessarily say you have to go to everything and anything in nightlife, but I do think doing local competitions is a great way to get your name out there, because even if you don't win, if you make an impression to people, you will get booked, especially local competitions that have a lot of nightlife people that go. Like, shout out to Drag Wars that Shaquita throws at pieces. I used to do Lady Liberty, and that's how I started to get into the game.
Oh yeah,
I did Lady Liberty like 3 cycles and finally won. But like Drag Wars, there's so many people I know in nightlife that go to Drag Wars, like drag queens, kings, DJs, managers, because Mondays is usually when we're mostly off, and they'll go. And I know that a lot of people from Drag Wars get booked, even if they don't win, because they've done a good job. So yeah, main thing: network, be professional. Do a local drag competition to really push yourself. And lastly, have like a second source of income when you first start until that money comes in enough that you can pay off all like your expenses and bills. And then you can have that conversation about switching over to full time.
Well, there's 2 things now off of that I want to talk about. One, very briefly, is the rhinestoned crutch you have behind you.
Baby, do you see?
I remember this.
I didn't plan this, but I was like, we're keeping her.
Yes. No, yeah, please get it for the viewers. For those of you who don't know, Anita, was this last year that this happened?
Yeah, this was in May. Literally, this like a year ago that the injury happened, and then I got surgery in October.
Oh gosh, and you're feeling better, right?
Yeah. I still have a few more months, but this is my crutch.
That's her crutch.
So the other one's over there.
That's the straight.
That's the ally.
The DL crutch. But no, Anita injured herself last year and came on stage one night with a boot, and we're just like, oh my god, is she okay? But you still hosted. You were at Hush, and you were doing your thing, and You, even though you couldn't do a cartwheel or a split like you used to, you brought on another girl to help do that thing sometimes if
Yeah.
you needed them to. But you still maintained like the hosting duties, and it reminds me of this, how much you kind of need to sit into what professionalism looks like in your job, not in
Yeah.
the workforce, but in your job, because it is your job. You're
Yeah.
showing up to that bar, even though it's a bar where people can get messy and people can do untoward things to each other in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You're still showing up as an employee, as a worker, as a coworker, and you're still showing up because you not showing up means someone else may not be making their money, or the bar may
Yes.
not be making their money. So it's very corporate in a way where I'm like, yeah, if I broke my foot, I would have to go into the office because my fingers work on the keyboard. I
Yeah.
just have to get a crutch. But you dragged it up. Like, you were aware of, like, here's my boot, rhinestone, here's my crutch, rhinestone. And it was just like, hey, like, we're all aware of it. It's kind of like the drag of it all, of just being like, yeah, I'm a man in a wig and a dress, but I'm also a man in an injury. I'm also a man that needs to make money. So
yes.
we're all here. So let's just have fun at the very least. And you did an amazing job the times that we saw
Thank
you in that booth.
Listen, I had time to think about the viewing party because I got the surgery in October. So I had ACL reconstruction surgery, and I had almost 2 months of not working any job, both drag and my swim job. And once I was able to start coming back to work slowly, I switched over to my swim job full time, and I was doing drag part time. And my part time was the drag race viewing party because it was coming up soon. It was a hosting gig, where as opposed to me doing like an hour and a half of a show, a bunch of performances, it was mostly like we're watching a show, I'm hosting, I can do some numbers, some games. So it's less strenuous on my body. It was once a week, you know what I mean? And also it was a great way for me to like kind of test myself getting back into drag and into the scene. But I had 2.5 months of sitting at home. I mean, I was going to PT, but like sitting at home being like, you know, how can we elevate this next year's viewing party, have fun and be campy with the injury, you know, like make lemonade out of lemons, you know what I mean? And so that's why I dragged up, because I was like, I have to wear this brace still, you know what I mean? I don't want to risk re-injuring myself. I cannot do a split or a dip yet. And I have all this time now, where before I felt like I wanted to do so many things with my drag, but I didn't have the time because I was working full-time. You know, I didn't have time to sit down and work on visuals. I didn't have time to work on new mixes. I didn't have time to rhinestone a brace or whatever the case, you know. So I had the time to really like kind of revamp and be like, okay, we're going to come back disabled temporarily, but how can we still come back and elevate the show? And having a guest was one, and two, also having fun, making light of the situation I was going through was the other thing. And the reception of it was great. You know, I'm really proud of myself of how the viewing party went, but I've always been someone, it's not to toot my own horn, but I've always been someone that when I face a lot of challenges, I try to find the benefits of them and how we can still make the best out of like a crappy situation. And this was one of them, and it really paid off, and I had a good time, and I'm still recovering, but a girl can do a high kick now, so we are in the game.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that high kick. Don't get high kicked by Inita D, though.
Don't. Just sit at your table.
Well, speaking of your challenges, you've challenged yourself with a number of titles over the last few years. I believe it's Miss Fire Island 2024.
Yep, Entertainment of the Year.
And Entertainment of the Year. And what was it? The Miss Stonewall. I remember that one. 2024. And most recently, Miss Washington Heights. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Are there any other titles I'm missing? There's the sash.
Nope.
Nice.
And the crown, baby. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right? It's I was going to wear it, and I was like, girl, I know how expressive I am, and it will fall off, and then I will lose my crown. As the first ever Miss Washington Heights, I was like, we can't do that. We can't do that.
So did I miss any? I'm sure I missed some titles. You just
those are the like in terms of pageants, those are the main ones. I won Lady Liberty season 4. This was like years ago when they had the when it was DragCon's first one in New York. They did Lady Liberty that season, and I ironically enough, for fun fact, Evie Oddly competed at that Lady Liberty before she got on Drag Race too. and I beat her, and I still love her. But
There are like 8 million people in my city, and somehow it's still impossible to find a cute nerd who wants to grab a drink. I can find a $700 parking spot. I can find a $30 green juice at midnight. But finding a gamer that knows what initiative means? Impossible. That's why there's Gamely, a queer-first app for people who love video games, board games, TTRPGs, and all things nerdy. Regular dating apps make gaming feel like a tiny footnote at the bottom of your profile, when we all know that someone's favorite games tells us the most about their profile. I don't just want to know your zodiac sign. I want to know your class, your alignment, your favorite cozy game, and whether you're emotionally stable enough to play Mario Kart without ruining the vibe. With Gamely, your next first date could be a D&D one-shot, a board game cafe, Stardew Valley co-op, barcade, or Mario Kart. So if you're queer, nerdy, cute, chaotic, lawful, neutral, or just looking for someone who won't make a weird face when you talk about your campaign, download Gamely today at gamelyapp.com/goblinguys and use code goblinguys for your first 3 months free. Gamely. Stop playing games and start playing games with someone special. Fun fact, I'm actually, we're filming this back on June 11th, so this is going to come out, but do you know Megami from Drag Race?
Yes, of course.
So I played D&D with her for a very long time, and before she went to the summer camp.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to her drag show tonight to perform as Cyclops, as Jean Grey number. And Evie's going to be there. I don't know what she's doing, but I'll say hi to her. But connection with Evie is so funny, is that the year after my husband and I got married I think it was World Pride 2019 here in New York. We were just going to go for, just to watch the parade, just be like, it's World Pride, we should at least get there. We went to a office party from one of our friends. That was not a sanctioned office party, and we got kicked out. And we were on Fifth Avenue, and we're just like, okay, what do we do? So we just cross the street, and we don't go over, because we're on the west side of Fifth Avenue, so we go over, and we're literally hiding behind one of those like city bike kiosks, so the cops don't see us because we're on the wrong side of the barrier, just watching it. My mother texts us, and she says, surprise, I'm in the city. I came down with your aunt because my aunt works for Nordstrom. And she's like, okay, we're going to be in the Nordstrom float. And I'm like, what? Okay, I guess we'll wait for you, because my parents live like an hour and a half north of the city. Yeah. And so we're waiting. My mom's like, yeah, they have some drag queen here, Miss Oddly. And I was like, what? And she was like, Evie was the queen for that, and she had just won Drag Race. Oh, word. So she was on the Nordstrom float, of all things, and so we waited for them to come. We get in the actual parade. Then my aunt pulls me and my husband Roy up onto the actual float. So I have this really cool video of me on the float during World Pride with Evie Oddly, who just won. But it was so poignant because, like with most queer people, like there's some difficulty coming out to your parents or to your family. And my mom, she went through her process to get to where she was. Now both my parents are lovely and supportive. They love me. They love my husband more than me. But it was just... Isn't that always the case? Yeah. But it was just a very poignant personal moment for me to realize that the closeted gay boy from many, many years ago who was afraid to come out is now marching in the New York City Pride Parade during World Pride with his husband and his mother and the winner of Drag Race. Right, so maybe a full circle. Yeah. And if you talk about you want to be like gay, like it's like one thing to like have your parents come to a show or just see you and have dinner with you and your husband, but for your parents to be with you on a float, gay pride, like literally the gayest of days. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the epitome of queer culture, a drag queen. It's just like, what a full circle moment. Everything worked. It was, I'm gonna have to tell her this when I see her, because I don't think I've spoken to her directly about this. Of just being like, hey, you may not remember this, but it was a very poignant memory for me. And I think a lot of that people kind of don't realize is how much work and how much effort drag performers give to New York City, but the world in general. But it is very, I'm very like impressed by how much you can put yourself out there. Yes, in a wig and a corset and doing all that stuff. But to have something to say and to do something and to put yourself on the front lines, drag performers have always kind of been on the front lines of change within the city and this world. So it's nice to be able to at least stand shoulder to shoulder with someone on that and just be like, I'm out here too. Let's give this person a boost.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great to see your rise as a pageant queen.
I know, it's crazy.
So did you intend to get into pageants, or how did you kind of start following that specifically?
When I first started doing drag, I didn't see myself being a pageant queen. Ironically enough, when I started drag, my drag sister Hibiscus is the reason I started drag. She pushed me and she like, you should do this competition. I did this competition at Rise and I won. But we had been, before even she was doing drag, we had backup dance for a drag queen for like 4 years at the Miss Gay America pageant system, right? And we were really getting exposed to the pageant system and like just drag culture and all of these things. And we're both from cheerleading teams too, from Cheer New York. So we're like, we love competition. We love the thrill of all this. And, you know, when I was watching it too, I didn't have an idea of becoming a drag queen in the first place. So, but I'm a dancer and I wanted to be a dancer. And so when I started drag, I just reflected on my experience of doing like backup dancing for these pageants and seeing the system. And I was like, I don't think that's really for me. Like it just, there's a sense of polishedness, if that's a word, that you need to have to do pageants, not to be a pageant queen, but to do pageants, really. And for me, I was like, I just want to perform and dance and like, you know, really let loose. But I did Miss Stonewall the year before COVID. And I was like, because it was like maybe 4 years into the game. And I was like, you know, let me do it. I've worked at Stonewall. I appreciate Stonewall. Also, what a chance to do a pageant at Stonewall and possibly be the, you know, next Miss Stonewall. And because I wanted to push myself. I was like, okay, let's continue elevating and stuff. And I did it. And I don't even think I placed like top 5. And that's okay. And it's fine. It was my first one ever. I was there. Okay?
Yes.
And then COVID happened. And then when we came back, the first year they did it was 2023. And I said, you know what? Let's do it again. Because by this time I had been, like 6 years in the game of doing drag. I had built up enough like clothing, gowns, looks, like all these different, and I said, let's just do it because it's been a while. It's the first one back. And I just wanted to have fun. I did the pageant. I was having a great time. And in the middle of doing the pageant, I was like, oh, I'm doing really good. Like, I could win. Like, you know what I mean? I was like...
When it finally clicked.
Maybe I was like, oh, I'm doing really, really... And then I was like, okay, now I want to win. Because I was just one... And, you know, and then I did 2023 and I got runner-up. And it was crazy. Misty Mountains won that year. And it was crazy because I was doing so good. And little fun fact too, the Q&A, it really messed me up. It was wild. But I'm not saying I didn't deserve to win or whatever. Like, I'm happy with the placement. But after doing it, I really enjoyed it because I think the competitive part of me, the part of like doing these competitions and also pushing myself to think outside the box, pushing myself to think about what glamour looks like, to think about what a gown looks like for me, which I'm not someone that's you've seen me on my shows. I'll wear a gown if it's like the finale or if it's like the first thing or if it's a corporate gig, but I'm very much catsuit, leotard, something a little structure, and because I dance. You know, so it pushed me outside of what I thought my aesthetic for drag was, and it also made me think about details, and I really enjoyed it. And so I kind of got like as I say, the pageant bug for it, because in 2024 I won, and then I wanted to do Fire Island Entertainer of the Year, because Entertainer of the Year, all you had to do was just the talent. You just had to perform. Like,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, their pageant's cool because they have different titles like Miss Fire Island, Ms. Fire Island, all the, and Miss Fire Island Entertainer of the Year is all you're doing is just a talent, and that's
Is that the clip of you death dropping into the pool, or is that just a separate?
Yes. Okay. Now, fun fact though, real quick, I have to say this because it's not called a death drop; it's called a dip.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. It's okay. It's something that's been like whitewashed and kind of like society has called it a death drop because of some people that have used it in their videos, but it's called a dip, and just to be respectful of the ballroom community, we must make sure
respectful. Thank you for correcting me.
Now, that's not the video of me doing that 360 dip into the pool. That was at Asbury Park. The video of me doing Miss Fire Island in the years, like I'm in a purple suit and in a split on two people's shoulders.
I remember because you're both
like
wearing purple. Yeah. And I was
Mm.
just like, this girl's crazy. And that dip, that spin into the pool
Oh,
is just like, it's
baby.
that when I see that show up on my feed every year, it's like it's summer, like it's
Yes, it
time for
is.
drag queens to get in the
Because
pool.
it was hot. But you know, like it was. I did enter in the year because it was just talent and it was something I wanted to do. And again, it was still about it was pageant because I started to make sure my look was good, the performance was good, you know, all these different things. And after doing them, I just really enjoy. I have so much more respect for pageantry and the pageant system because it really does. If anyone wants to really like push themselves and elevate their drag and think outside of what they're used to in terms of their aesthetic, do a pageant because you really have to think about even the smallest things to do it. And then coming back to drag, Miss Washington Heights it's a new pageant, and
Yeah,
I saw them post about it like a month and a half ago, and I said, you know what, this is a great way for me to start getting back into the drag, but also to see if I still have it, you know, like if I
yeah.
still got it, and I signed up for it, and I will say that this isn't the last pageant that I plan on doing.
I can't wait to see which one you win next. It's going to be so exciting.
Fingers crossed, baby. Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed. No, I was going to say I feel bad because our friends Tim and Nick live right around the corner from that bar, and we went there for a drag race viewing party when we were up visiting them, and we saw like, oh, Miss Washington Heights. Oh, we can't make it because my husband and I were going to be in Fire Island, and they
Oh yes.
texted us. They ended up going, and they're like, Anita D's doing so well, and they let us know that you won. So it's just like, of course she won. So I'm glad that we could at least have some of our friends representing us
Yes.
there and supporting you and giving you $1 at the very least.
Yeah,
But
baby.
no,
Yes.
you speak truth because it's like I'm in this mode of like building this thing, and I'm like, I need challenge sometimes of like building, even though it's not the same thing of running a D&D campaign or like doing a podcast. It's like I'm learning now. I told this to my supervisor at my corporate job the other day, where I'm far less afraid of failure than I used to be.
Yes.
Like I'm inviting it almost like I don't want to fail, but I'm welcoming it if it does occur so much because I can then see very clearly this is where I wanted to be, this is where I ended up. That's not a big deal because now I know this is where I need to get past to get to where I want to be. And
Exactly.
so it's really refreshing to see that like this is just more of a human component of just being like we're all trying to achieve something more than what we currently have, working hard
Mm-hmm.
for it, and you have to kind of put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to
Absolutely.
progress in whatever career or goal that you're trying to achieve. But something that you do that's also, I think, I don't know if it's uncomfortable for you, but I know that it can be sometimes uncomfortable for other people, especially other queer people in the audience, when you talk about mental health and mental health advocacy. It is one of the big reasons why I love you as a performer. You have a stage, you have a platform, you have a microphone to talk about important things. And yeah, you could be one of those queens that's just like, let's watch Drag Race, let's talk crap, let's do a
Yeah.
death drop. Sorry, a dip.
I did.
I did that on purpose. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was like, he's testing. Okay, word.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you can just be up there and just get $1 and go home. But you take the time to call out like what being respectful looks like in a queer space like Hush. You make sure people understand what it is to have boundaries with service workers because sometimes
Yes.
we know the white gaze of Hell's Kitchen maybe not have worked a service job in their life, so they don't know how to be respectful to
And
someone.
they can be demonic sometimes, okay?
Yes. But also you talk very openly about your own mental health journey as well as like what it means to ask for help. And I think that that's a big issue within our community to be able to, it's kind of one of the reasons why I started Goblin Guys is like I wanted a space that was open for me to spend time with specifically my male friends, but just any friend in general. But it's like the male loneliness epidemics of being like, I wanted to create a space that wasn't sex focused, that wasn't drug focused, that wasn't like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
anything other than just
Yeah.
like we have an excuse to spend time together, to be
Right.
vulnerable and silly with each other. That opens up that boundary to be like, hey, I'm going through something or I'm struggling with something.
Yeah.
And I want to build that community on my own right. And I think when I see you do it, it's a very much of an inspiration. But when have you always been this open about your journey in mental health and just kind of advocating for it?
I don't think I was always as transparent or open in terms of one, asking for help, but two, also talking about what I'm going through. Um, I am still, but I'm learning to find the balance. Someone that like I've been like the class clown growing up. I have been the goofy one. I'm the one that like I want to make sure everyone's like laughing and having a good time in the room. You know, like
You're a
really
natural
making
host.
you know, yeah, literally, and just making sure like everyone else is having fun, forgetting about life and stress and stuff. But what comes with that is like me a lot of times forgetting about myself and my needs, or not sharing them and what I'm going through because I was under the mindset that it would burden others, or it's going against what my plans and goals were, just in any circle of friends or group or environment, which is to make everyone have a good time, right? And when I think about the stuff that I'm going through, it combats what I want to do in those groups. You know, I want everyone to have a good time, but if I'm telling people I'm struggling and I don't know if I want to be here, that's going to bring the mood down when I want everyone to feel good, you know?
Yeah. And it's
and
tough because we're all struggling in our own way. It's
Yes.
just like, well, I know Anita just broke her foot the other day, so I'm not going to complain about a crappy day I had at work because my pain isn't as big as her pain or something like that. And that holds me back on a lot of the situations. But I also need support in something different that you could potentially give support on or want to give support on, but you don't know until I say something.
Exactly. Like just speaking is the first step in, I think, having a healthy mental relationship. Well, just being mentally healthy, and also having a healthy relationship with friends and loved ones. I think it's just speaking, as I say, like it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way, right? And that was how I was.
I love that saying. You say it all the time.
I do.
This is something and I kid you not. When my husband and I are having a tough time, when he's struggling with something, I remind him of that saying. Like I've had to learn how to not just like to make space for people not being okay. That's like another level of mental health where it's just like, no, it's not about fixing my problem. It's not about turning that off. It's like, I'm going to feel bad, and I'm going to feel bad for the next 2 hours about this. Let me feel bad. Let me go through the emotion. And so it's like that really encapsulates that saying. It's okay. Say it again if you don't mind.
It's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way. You know, and I say that all the time. And this comes from, that saying is not from some place I found it. That saying is I've created, not like a trademark, but I've created for myself because it's what I came up with because of the progress and work that I've done with my therapist, with myself, from my own lived experience, you know. And this might be, I don't know if you put this in the pot, like a trigger warning, but I'm a survivor of suicide. You know, I was in a space, and this is like in COVID, where I know a lot of people are in this space. But
we're all struggling,
right. I will say this, in COVID, my biggest stress in life has always been like finances and trying to like stay afloat, living in an expensive city. During COVID, I was making the most money, really, because I wasn't spending it. I was getting my unemployment. We were getting that extra like $300 something per week, and I was doing my virtual drag brunch on Facebook where I had for people watching from all over the U.S. because people that couldn't see me in person were now able to see me virtually. So I was making good money and not spending it because I didn't have to pay for Uber, you know. So I was making good money. So my finances were pretty good. However, my social life and me drinking more increased, and then also at the same time, Black Lives Matter was really picking up, and just seeing the racism and the division in the country and the lack of hope. And then we have this man so it was just so many things that I just didn't see like a light to the end of the tunnel. And I was just like, I'm kind of like over this. And I attempted it, right? And then I'm glad that I failed, and I'm glad my roommate was home at the time. And I ended up in a psych ward for a whole 24 hours. And let me tell you something. If you are someone having these thoughts and you want to get out of this mindset, stay at a psych ward for 24 hours. It will. I have to make joke of like light of it, but it literally was like I don't ever want to be here again because it's. This sounds like pun intended. It's crazy being in a psych ward. Okay, and you know, going through that experience, I came back. I got back home the next day, and I said, you know what? I'm not okay, but I don't want to stay in this mindset, and so I got a therapist. You know, and the biggest thing that I worked on, or one of the things I learned with my therapist, is that I cannot, like I said before, I cannot hold back my feelings and what I'm going through and not express it with the friends and people that love me because I want them to feel fine and I'm afraid of dumping my baggage on them. But yet I expect them to dump their baggage on me for me to help them carry it because then it's going to be too much and I can't handle it. The second thing is I cannot also fight the emotions that I feel and try to mask it like I'm okay because then I'm not really getting to the root of it. So when I say it's okay to not be okay, it is fine because no one is 100% all throughout the day happy. However, so like if you feel anger, if you feel upset, if you feel disappointment, if you feel depressed or sad, like let your body and your mind and your heart feel those feelings. Like let it run its course, right? Mm-hmm. And when you have let it run its course, you make space for other emotions to come in. But also, if you find yourself constantly in that space, like let's say I'm constantly find myself angry or I'm constantly finding myself sad, at some point you have to have an internal conversation check-in and say, am I happy being in this state of mind or in this mental space? And if you're not, now you need to start putting the work in to not be there. And that's what I did. I was like, I'm not happy with constantly feeling like when I drink, depressed, sad, like there's no hope. Let's do something about it. So I got a therapist, and the reason I advocate for it, but I also share it, is because I have really worked on being comfortable with sharing when I'm not having a good day or I'm going through something. And even if my friends are going through their own thing too, not making it about me, but also share like I'm going through something too, because I think we in society have been kind of groomed to feel like everything is a competition, especially like in the school system, education, and in the workforce. And I think that also bleeds into our social interactions where we feel like if someone's having like a really crappy day or something really bad is happening, I don't want to share that I'm going through something because I don't want to seem like it's competing. Or if I'm having a really bad day and someone is having like something going on, I don't want to negate or invalidate what they're going through because my problems are the worst. It's like, no,
and a lot of your friends are probably scared to show it because you're so good in competitions that they're afraid that you're going to win the pitting.
Shut up. Exactly. I'm going to win Miss Depression at 2026. Exactly. Yeah. No, but it's just like, I had to let go. I had to work on letting go of my concern for others and my concern more about others' well-being.
Yeah.
In terms of like if they're happy or not. To allow myself to be transparent with friends and loved ones and share when I'm not having a good day or I'm going through something. And I share it in drag and I share it at my shows because it helps me and it might help someone else. And it's also like we have to change the dynamics and we have to change society, especially in our queer community, to understand like you can be not okay. It's fine. Like let it run its course. You will be surprised when you speak up and say I'm not okay. The amount of people that will come around you to let you know that they're here for you in whatever capacity. But if you stay silent, if you don't say anything, if you don't share it, if you feel too concerned about someone else's like well-being to let them know what you're going through, you'll never find out the love that's around you. And a lot of times I feel like that's why people go that extreme route of ending things because they feel alone.
And I have to just say, I am happy that you're here with us today and that you're doing better because you are a light in this city, a light in the drag community. So I appreciate the work that you've been doing and the work on yourself, but also for the rest of us, because it is a testament to our community being healthier and stronger because of the work that you're doing. But yeah, it is important that you're able to provide that vulnerability. Because it's so, I think, like when we talk about like going back to your pageantry and how you felt like you weren't polished enough, I'm not a drag performer. I don't know what it's like to win a competition, but I can imagine as someone watching or judging a drag performer, what I'm looking for isn't so much like the perfect wig or the perfect makeup or dress or whatever. It is someone who's really being themselves, that despite putting on this costume, if you will, I still know who you are beneath all of that. And it's consistent. You are, regardless of what you're wearing or what you're doing, you show up the exact same way every single time. And it's because I think you know who you are better than probably someone else does, because you've gone through this really scary, difficult time in your life. And not to say that everyone needs to do that, but I think it's showing that like, hey, it's about recognizing who you are internally, accepting that, moving forward with that, so that as the tough times come, because they will, that you're more capable of holding on to the truth of the matter. But also, it's really, I think COVID was just a really, really crappy time for all of
Oh,
us, obviously.
it was
The
crazy.
isolation, it's like, it is such a, I didn't realize how draining that was. And I'm a
Mm-hmm.
homebody. I like to stay
Right.
home. I like to be alone.
Same.
Um,
If I'm not
but
getting a
it
paycheck, I'm the same way.
exactly. But if I like, I realized after a few months, I'm like, ooh, this is difficult, and I started doing unhealthy things to kind of
Yes.
cope with that
Yep.
change. And that's why I think at least I have a lot of fun when we go to drag shows, or your specifically drag show, because it does feel like community. It does
Yeah.
feel like the person I'm sitting next to, even if I don't know them as well as I know my partner or something like that, it's like, okay, we're in this together, we're sharing this together, we're celebrating this together. And
Yeah.
then what's fun is going to a show like that on a weekly basis.
Yes,
You
and
see the
having to
same
look forward
people.
to. Yep.
It's something to look forward to. You see the same people. I love that setting in Hush, because it's big enough to encompass a large group of people,
Yeah.
but also small enough to be like, this feels intimate.
Yeah, it
And so
becomes
much
like
of
a family, you know.
yeah.
And I want to just say one more thing too. I was just thinking about this of like when we talk about me just being transparent about mental health awareness and advocacy, right? One thing that like there's one specific incident that really like solidified what I'm doing and like pushes me to keep going. And I'll never forget this. I have a friend of mine, and I was doing a show. I think it was like at Industry. I think it was at
Mhm.
Industry, and I did the same thing I do at Hush. I got on the mic and I was telling people it's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. And I always tell people on the mic too, I'm like, if you find yourself in a tough place, you can do several things. One, take a break. Two, see family. Three, get a therapist. I have one. And four, come to a show. Come to a drag show,
Mhm.
And as I normally do, to just be transparent, to share my experience. And I'll never, never, never forget. Oh my God, it makes me emotional. We finished the gig and I'm outside of Industry, and my friend comes up to me and he's like, we're just talking. I'm like, what's going on? How are you doing? Like, like just regular banter. And he's like, I'm okay, trying to stay alive. And I was like, me too. And we're sharing our experience. Just nothing crazy. I get home that evening, like later that night, and I get like a WhatsApp from him, and he's like, I just want you to understand that, like, I went to see your show, and then we talked outside, and we just kind of shoot the stuff or whatever, just like talk to each other. And he's like, you don't understand, but like literally tonight was going to be my last night. He was like, I already sent my dog to my parents. I had already wired my money to my family without telling them. And he was like, I was fully planning to, and he was like, just by talking to you, he was like, just by talking to you in that moment. And it wasn't even about what he was going through. Like, it wasn't like a deep conversation, like in terms of like, deep in terms of like the emotion, just talking about like, we gonna get through this, like kind of just that. He was like, it really made me feel like I can keep going and I got this. And he's like, I just want to say thank you so much for just talking to me outside and having a conversation. And I'll never forget that, because it's like, if I had someone like me when I was feeling the way I was feeling, I might have never even tried to attempt to do that, And to know that like all I'm doing is just talking to a friend and checking in with them is saving lives, just because I'm being transparent and I'm creating a space where someone feels safe and comfortable enough to just talk to me. It's like more not validation, but just more proof that it does work to be transparent and to use my platform in this way. And it's like, I'm just so glad that this person is still here,
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. I think that goes to show you that everyone should be picking up their phones right now and texting like 5 of their queer friends right now, just to say that they love them and that they care about them. Happy Pride, whatever you need to, because you're right. I feel good when I get a text or a message out of the blue from someone that I care about, just to
Mm-hmm.
say hi, just to check in, just to see how things are going, because it's a reminder that like, I am not an island. I am supported by a community of people.
Yes.
Some people are very close and I see them every week. Sometimes it's a person I see once a month, but
Yeah.
they're all part of that same support system that we don't realize sometimes. Yes, we may be in the center of our own support system, but
Right.
we don't realize who we're supporting by being part of their support system in
Yeah.
a very casual way or a very intense way.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think you've been putting yourself out there. That's, I think, a testament to who you are as a performer and an identity within the nightlife community here in New York. But the most important reason I think that you're really popular, for me at least, is how big of a nerd you are.
Ah, baby. Absolutely.
I had to transition somehow.
Yeah, no, totally fine. A gamer, okay?
Yes. So I've known you've been, I've seen you perform for years now, but I remember one night you had a Kingdom Hearts mix on, and my husband looks at me like, I love my husband, Roy. He's the best person in the world. He is not a nerd by any stretch of the means. I've exposed him to a lot, but you know, he's like, he'll just like, what is this from? Like a soundtrack, and I know every song of that Simple and Clean song.
Yes, you're like, Utara Hikaru. It's Kingdom Hearts. Okay, this is the remastered version.
Yeah, did you see Kingdom Hearts 4 was just
announced? I did. I'm like, oh, I will have no
I don't know what's going on in it. I've completely lost the plot on that series.
Me too. But now it's in the city. So I'm like, I'm getting it.
Yeah. So what mediums within the nerd community, whether it's comics, video games, movies, cartoons, what is there anything that influences your drag to a specific way?
I would say, like, for me, it's more like the I'm very into anime.
Yeah.
And I'm very into like video games too is another thing, but anime. And when I think of anime, I think of all the female characters in animes and shows that always had transformations. Top one, Sailor Moon.
Yep.
Baby, I am Sailor Venus. Okay, let me tell you something about Sailor Venus real quick. You gotta know. Sailor Venus.
I'm Sailor Jupiter, I feel like.
Okay, I you know what? I very see that. You give me math, I do sports. But I will give you a rosebud any day. And I'm very Sailor Venus because I love just looking like Aphrodite, whatever. But let me tell you something about Sailor Venus. Sailor Venus is a gay man in a woman's body. She is the original trans woman of Sailor Moon because her two weapons were like gay things. It was a whip that was called a love me chain that was an anal bead. And then and like and then the love me sword, and I was like, baby, all her moves was about hearts and whipping, and I'm like, she was the original trans femme of the leather community, but that was a lipstick lesbian. Like, she was raised by a lipstick lesbian. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, she was raised by lipstick lesbians. So she could dominate on the six.
Okay, and trans femme too, like just femmed out, like bundles of a long blonde, like So I think of like the transformation in terms of like Sailor Moon and other animes that would have transformations, like when I do my drag, to like really going from one end to the other. I would say I don't dabble too much into cosplay, although I would like to, and I try to here and there. But those are like my things that influence, I would say, my drag is really just that aspect of like the transformation aspect of things. Like even like card captors, you know, when she would transform to. Or like,
she just had a different outfit every single episode that was sewed by her lesbian friend that was in love with her.
Okay, and then also when she would like infuse with the cards too, where I was like, "Get me out, get me."
Yes. It's I mean, I have a soft spot for magical girl anime, obviously.
Yes.
My fun fact about Sailor Moon is that I remember reading an article from the woman who created it, who was basically like, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. She was like, I just wanted to write something. I wanted to write about girls that I wanted to be friends with. Because she didn't have as many female friends or something like that, I think. And it was like, no, and it's very much these archetypes that you see within popular media. The smart girl, the pretty girl, the mean girl, the sporty girl. And she was just like, no, I just wanted people, like I wanted to create a group of friends that would keep me company or be friends with me. And it's so poignant that it's like that resonates with so many queer people to this day, of being like, yes, I want that community, and I want my friends to be themselves. I don't want us all to be the same. I want my friend who's a Shinto priestess who's obsessed with boys to live her life, but also my friend who's a big bookworm and is the top of her class, that we all can get together on the weekend and get burgers together.
Yes. And then fight crime.
And fight crime. Obviously, we're gonna fight crime. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate it's an extra safe space for me to be at least like, okay, I know what's going on in this drag show. I know the words to this song at the very least.
Yes, yes, yeah. The thing is also, you know, and when I do the shows too, I love that we're doing this podcast too, because I feel like there's a majority of us, and this is just me making an assumption, but I feel like a majority of people in queer culture have been exposed to or in nerdy game comic culture because it served as an escape for a lot of us during times that we may have been in the closet or really didn't have a lot of friends to be our friends. But a lot of us as adults feel this like nervousness to express it. And for me now, I'm like, I'm so comfortable in who I am and love all of me that I'm going to show you the nerdy parts of me. And then I realized that half the room knows the song of Simple and Clean Remastered because we all grew up playing Kingdom Hearts, or we all grew up watching, you know, Toonami and watching all Gundam Seed and Zodiac, you know, and I'm just like, oh, we all were gamers. Okay, got it.
Did you ever watch Madoka, Magical Madoka, the really dark? Oh my god, that is a mind. It's beautiful. It's creepy. Yeah, it really turns the magical girl genre on its head. And
wait, is that the one where like they have to like get certain points and then they start like dying out?
Essentially, it's the pink girl with the poofy dress and the bow and arrow, and that white cat with the ears, Magica Modica or Modica Magica, whichever version of that. But it really is like, hey, what happens if this deal is too good to be true to be a magical girl? But what's really cool about that is that the girls really do fight back against this. They're like, yeah, this may not be like what we signed up for, but we're not gonna go down without a fight.
We're not bending the knee to your demands and stuff for the things you give us. And
so I would say like, pour one out for the magical girls at the very least. Mm-hmm. So as we wrap up, we're coming to the last 10 minutes of the show. I'm going to do what I do with all of my non-player characters on the show. Is I'd love for you to help me create an NPC to live in the Goblin Guys universe. We can, if you have someone that like speaks to you, if you played D&D before, I'd love to use that, or we can just kind of iterate, kind of spitball on what you want. Do you see like you have someone in mind, or do you want to just kind of like character build right now?
To be, I think character build. To be fair, I played like D&D on the like PlayStation 5. It was a D&D game with my friends, but I have and I haven't played like the actual board game. But I did go to that show that was off Broadway, and it was like
27
I went to it. Yes, I went to it, and I was like, "Oh, this is like we can use our phone because we have to use our phone to interact and stuff." And we won. I was like, "Thank God." But a character, I don't have a specific character because I don't know many of the characters of the game itself. To be fair, so the community, D&D community, I love you. I'm so sorry, I'm an ally. But I know about. I will say this: playing a lot of video games where you can choose like races and like what is your specialty and all this stuff like that. I have like idea of what I would want for an NPC
so let's
character.
Start. I'll do with what I usually do with new characters. All right. So do you see yourself as more of a front of the line, punch someone in the face, or far back supporting, or kind of magical blaster?
Magical. Everything. Mage, wizard, all those. Yep. Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see yourself as kind of like a beautiful femme, like lithe elf?
Yes.
Kind of elf woman.
This is my thing. This might help too, like with it. I see myself being a dark elf priestess who has fallen from her throne. This is so random though, but I'm like, you have fun with this. But now owns a brothel because she's been exiled from her homeland and had to build a brothel in whatever town is nearby to raise money, and now is trying to help these women, but at the same time trying to make her money and gain her throne back.
I love that. So she has some spells, but she's not more of a combat first person. She's more of like, I run this town person.
Yeah. She's very much like support and stuff, but also like she's like a controller. So she has skills and spells that will help her control the enemies and stuff like that, whether it's blinding,
some like
silencing,
mind
powers, confusion, making you fall in love with her, you know.
I love all this. Now, the most important thing, what is her name?
Oh my God. I gotta think of a name.
Is it Cece?
No, no. Imagine if it was. No, you know what? Honestly, Cece would be kind of good because it gives you like it's a nickname for a real. Okay, so her full name is probably like Celestia, but she's called Cece because that's her name on the block.
Yes. Cece. Cece, the dark elf wizard who runs a brothel and
Yes.
serves her community the best of the ability.
Yeah, and she used to be a priestess, but she's been exiled.
A priestess, is it a good god or a bad god she used to be a priestess of?
I would say let's stay on brand with Dark Elf and then kind of that storyline of Dark Elves used to be elves, but something happened. So I would say she like a priestess of a dark god or an evil god. I would say.
In the D&D world, it's the reason I like the Dark Elf, or they call them Drow, is that it is the subversion of the masculine kind of trope of the women run the country of the Underdark, and they serve the Loth, the Spider Queen, who is just like this evil Drow priest, Drow goddess, and all the men are just like chattel to them, and so it's just the more powerful they are, the more feminine they are in that society.
Absolutely, so, I felt it.
So Cece, does she still worship Loth, or is she on the right path?
It's one of those things that when I think about her too, it's like she still has some little faith in who she worships, but she's kind of lost it. Not because she's been betrayed by her goddess, but she's been betrayed by her people. So that's why she's been exiled. You know what I mean?
She appreciates a strong woman at the top of society. She's not going to bring her down, but there's some really shitty people in her community that she just doesn't want to be bothered with.
And that's why she owns a brothel, because she's helping the women make their money, take control of these men, but at the same time protecting them too while they do it.
Yes. So, most important question: what color is her hair, and how long is it?
Oh, baby, teal bundles. It's a ombre teal, so it goes from like a dark black to a teal at the end, and it's 60 inches.
60, and it's all her natural hair.
All natural from the scalp. I mean, she might have a clip-on in there, but we're not gonna talk about it. Yeah.
She likes to wear bangs sometimes. She likes to push out a bang piece.
She has like a good old business bang.
Yeah, business bang, but then like the pointed bang when she's angry.
Oh yeah, like the widow's peak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then she'll have like the Sia bang when she's like doing like her fan dance or something that.
No, it's you know what it is. It's when she's casting any spells and stuff. It tends to her bang lowers over her eyes so she can just be focused on the spell, so she doesn't see anything. And then once it's done, it just goes right back.
And then she also does that when she goes to sleep at night.
Absolutely. She's like, good night.
I'm just imagining the Billy Porter, like the hat. When
Yes, exactly.
All right. We'll make CC appear somehow, some way, I promise.
Please do.
Thank you so much. So we're in Pride Month. Do you have any gigs that you're really excited about that we can have the children see you at and support you at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm back to doing my drag full time. So all of the gigs I had before surgery that I do weekly and monthly are back. And if you want to see that, find me on my Instagram at the Inita D TheInitad. Follow me.
We'll link everything below.
Yes, and I post all my highlights, like my gigs throughout the week. But I'm really excited for Pride weekend because I'll be doing brunch at Rise Bar that Sunday. We have 3 seatings, too, because we have an early one. I'm like, oh, God. But I'm happy because it's the people before they go to the parade. And since I just won Miss Washington Heights, as well at La Kayla, which is a restaurant on 181 over here by the GW, I will also be doing a Pride event that evening, too, as well. So if you are in the Heights, because there's a lot of queer people in Washington Heights. If you're in Washington Heights and you want to kind of stay local, too, stay tuned for that. That'll be on my page. And then, you can just find me all over. I'm going to be everywhere. So just check out my Instagram and see where I'm going to be at. But those 2 things. For Pride itself, Pride weekend, I'm going to be at Rise Bar for brunch. And then I'm going to be at La Kayla for my Miss Washington Heights Pride event.
Awesome. Well, happy Pride, Anita. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure, as always. And, we'll see you around.
See you around, lovies. Thank you.
Have a good one.